quick button. I love it. How you gotta always refresh stuff. All right, go back to go-to girl. The go-to girl. I've had people make some. Let me do this. I'm over here telling you what to do. I ought to just help you. Is what I ought to do. Pages. All right. Here we go. Now.
Oh, look at that.
We are going to give this a share. It's lagging just a little bit, but we're going to just test this out. We're going to share that. So our comments, it seems, will be a little laggy, but that's all right because we will still get them. So, all right, before we go into who you are and what we are doing
I can
here.
put this down?
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. And I may need it at some point to read comments if I'm too black.
Okay.
No, it looks like I can read them from here. So we're gonna get some people on with us, and we're here at the studio at the Chase building. And Daniel Fitzwater sponsors me through the radio station. He also owns Stormforce Media. Okay. And so, guys, I will tell you, if you ever need a person that knows about digital advertising, radio, internet, you name it, he knows it. He knows it way better than I do. So he's my mentor, and he's been my mentor for like 7 years probably. So I've got to give a shout out to Stormforce Media, and he is just absolutely awesome. If you need some advertising and for whatever reason you don't go through me, I will gladly send you to him because he's actually probably a little above me on that, but we complement each other. So enough about that though. Daniel, thank you, but enough about that for now. Tell me, who do I have the honor of having with me today? Who are you?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, before we go into your book, I want to know who you are.
Okay.
Well, I know who you are actually, but they don't know.
First,
so tell me
my name is Gregg Chesterman. I have lived in Wichita Falls now for a little over 8 years, which makes me an official Texan by now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And what I have found out is you don't tell people you came from California because real Texans don't like that. But I did come from California. I grew up in the Northwest. I went in the Marine Corps right out of high school, ended up in Southern California, got out, stayed there, made the Coachella Valley my home. So if you've heard of Coachella Fest or Stagecoach, that's where it all happens. But I ended up getting a bachelor's degree, then a master's degree, worked in community college education out in Palm Springs area for over 20 years. Prior to that, I was doing associate pastoring at a local church there.
Wow. And
then decided to retire. I moved out here to Wichita Falls because my wife has family here. And after about a year, I went back to work. I guess I wasn't quite ready to retire yet. So I worked at MSU for a while doing VA. And then I counseling position opened up at Vernon College, which is my absolute favorite job to do. It is the absolute funnest thing to do.
That's awesome. So that's how you ended up here in Wichita Falls? Was through Vernon College?
No, we retired. We retired and came out here. My wife has family out here.
Oh, okay.
Her son and his family, and then her ex-husband lives right next door, so when we all get together, we get together at her son's house, and we all get along.
Okay.
He even made some stuff for me for murder mysteries I used to do out at Horseshoe Bend.
I know, you were telling me about that, so we have to talk a little bit about that here in a second. Now, I got to say hi to Mike Studebaker. I'm not really sure why. Sometimes Facebook doesn't actually show me how many people are watching up there at the top, but it looks like Mike commented, so thank you, Mike. Stay on. This is going to be a great interview. I'm really excited about it. We're about to talk about something that I am very interested in, and I'm super, whenever we talked over the phone, I got really excited about meeting you, and you're going to find out why here in just a second. But you have a big background in like teaching and counseling and all of that.
Yes, I do. Not just in education, but also in the church world as well.
That's awesome. So how long have you had a passion for writing? Because you wrote a book, so that takes a lot.
I had always thought, probably for since about 2008, 2009, I thought if I ever write a novel, it's going to be a murder mystery. It's going to be set in the Coachella Valley. It's going to be in the middle of a community college, and it's going to be drug running, and there's going to be a military base by it, and
a lot of different things going on with it.
what I ended up writing had nothing to do with that.
Okay.
That's going to end up being the sequel to the first one.
Okay, so now you have a book and it's on Amazon. What is the name of the book? Oh, you can go ahead and show it off. We're going to talk about that.
Desert Winds. It is on Amazon. It's also on Barnes & Noble. On Amazon, it's ebook, paperback, or hardcover.
Wow, and it's a very nice book. And I was reading that, and I got to say hi to Gil as well. Hello, Gil. Be sure to give this a share, Gil. Support local, definitely. He's definitely local now. He's been with us 8 years, so we can definitely count him in. And you've done things locally with local businesses. So we're gonna talk more about this book here in a minute. But I almost forgot to tie that back in. You wrote murder mysteries.
My wife and I were sitting at Horseshoe Bend Winery one Sunday having some wine, and Scott Pennish, the owner, was sitting at the table next to us talking to someone about wanting to do a murder mystery up there. I apparently was eavesdropping. So
wow.
I went over to the table. I said, hey, I've done a few of these out in California before I came out here. If you need any help, let me know. And I gave him my contact information. He ended up calling me up, and so we decided, let's do a murder mystery. So my plan was I would do about 3 of them with him, and then they could take over and just take off with it. But after the 3rd one, we both realized, hey, we need to work as a partnership here because we're not going to get the quality or anything else. So let's work together. And so for the next over 4 years, I did murder mysteries out there.
That is so exciting. I saw, and I never did them, and Gabby is probably upset, and Scott's probably like, really, you saw them? I did. I've seen them all the time, and I always wanted to do them, but I didn't ever do it. So I want to know the feedback. If you ever did one of those, I almost said videos. My mind is on videos. If you ever did one of their events, I want to know your feedback in the comments, because it looked very interesting and it seemed very neat. And I love Horseshoe Bend, and I'm going to have to tag them in this later after the broadcast. So that's really cool that you kind of got to know people here in town. And so do you mind if I hold the book? Because I'm getting a copy of this. I'm super excited. I was telling him I really love murder mysteries, like I do. Can't make out the name of the book or the banner behind you. It's because it's a mirrored effect, so we're going to read it to you. I'm going to tell you it's Desert Winds. It looks like this on Amazon, and we're going to type that into the comments later. So it's Desert Winds. Mike, this will probably be a really good read for you, and we could talk about the book. I'm going to try to read it and talk about it at some point, because really, honestly, it's really neat how you tied so many different things into, murder mystery. I love murder mysteries, and I love crime. I like watching the cold cases and stuff. Do you ever watch that?
All the time.
It's crazy.
I think my wife and I have seen every Dateline there is.
I know, and I've watched so many that sometimes I feel like I could be on those shows, or be like a detective, because I'm like, one time there was something that somebody had done, and I said, did you check the shoe print? Like, why are we not looking at all the evidence here?
Sometimes I meet people, and I pray that they don't end up on that show.
Right? Yeah, I know. Let's hope. Yeah. I've been more wary of stuff. I'm scared of stuff. Like, now that I've watched those shows, I no longer go walking late at night in dark areas.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
It's probably a good thing, but I wasn't scared to do that stuff. I've never been scared of nothing until I started watching those shows, and then I'm like, oh my God, now my imagination gets carried. It does.
It's good to be careful.
Yeah, because I was never scared of nothing.
We watched an episode on there that a murder happened. It was over by the Walmart in those apartments over there, and my wife was living there in those apartments when it actually happened, and that was years ago.
I've seen stuff like that too. There was one that came up on TikTok or somewhere the other day, and it said in 1984 in Wichita Falls. And I'm like, the phone knows where I live. Like, it was like some TikTok. Like, I was like, it has picked up on the fact that I like this and like that. I think the phones really are starting to listen to us, or like pick every network of everything. That's a whole nother video.
So what happened was I decided to retire again for good. And when I did, I ended up stopping the murder mysteries out at Horseshoe Bend Winery. Now, Gabby Pennish has still picked up on that, and she's still doing them out there. And I'm sure they're just as good as when I was doing
she's
them.
just such a good girl. And I'm going to tag Gabby in this. She does the farmer's market. She stays busy with the winery.
She is.
Helps with weddings out there. I mean, they just do so much. So a shout out to you, young lady. I'm going to tag you later. She just texted me the other day. She was looking for something. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but she was looking for something. So real quick, before we go forward, we are going to ask more questions. If you got questions at home, be sure to add them. And Mike, we will be sure to put this in the comments because it was on Amazon. How much was it? Like, it was something like
$9.99 for the paperback.
That is awesome.
I think it was like $20 for the hardback.
Yeah.
And then it's like $3 for the ebook.
Yeah. And the cool thing is you know the author. So if you buy the hardback, you're like, this, I'm gonna collect this because you watched a whole video on it. A local author. When I say he'll probably even sign it if you buy it and bring it to him. I bet you do that.
Absolutely.
So yeah. We should have you. Anybody that buys your book, you could go to my St. Patrick's Day event and sign the book. You could sell books
here's
there.
the thing: your St.
Mr.
Patrick's
Retired.
Day event coming up. We ought to talk about maybe me having a booth out there.
You should, and you can help me with it and you market it because you're a mystery man. Like, we'll make some sort of, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I'm like getting carried. I'm like, no, but we're tying you in because I like you, Greg. You're awesome. Mike says, I have had a guy that got shot in front of me at the gas station. It was getting robbed. Oh my gosh, Mike. Mike is such a cool guy. I drove his tractor one time and like literally love Mike. So I know Mike is going to love this book. And so real quick, I'm going to read just a tad bit. Is it okay if I read this part?
Well, you can or I can.
To them? Yeah, I'm going to let you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably better reading
Here,
stuff.
hold this.
All I do is look at pictures on Facebook
it's
nowadays.
It's just this first paragraph.
Okay.
What you do when you write a book is you have to create what's called a hook. Mm-hmm. A hook is one sentence that describes the whole book.
Well, you hooked me.
So here's the hook. An illegal midnight cremation, a double murder, and the disappearance of the newly elected tribal council chairman leaves Sheldon Goodman torn between two roads and ultimately exposes an off-books clandestine CIA operation, corrupt Indian casino executives, and a sex trafficking ring that threatens the lives of corrupt leaders as well as his girlfriend and his own.
Wow. I'm telling you guys, you're going to want to read this. And I mean, this to me, it already had me hooked because now I'm curious too, knowing you, how it all ties together and what you've put together. Like, it's really neat. So now I want to read this even more. I don't have much time to read, but I will be reading it. Mike said saved his life. Did you save his life, Mike? But I'll be back on that here in a minute, Mike. So you've got a lot of thrill and suspense, mystery in there. And
yes.
Do you plan on writing, you said, a sequel?
I've already started.
That's exciting. Exciting.
I've got the first scene written. This is the first scene of the sequel.
Yeah.
However, I think we ought to talk very quickly about the first scene in Desert Winds.
Okay, let's do that.
It starts with the illegal midnight cremation.
Okay.
And let me tell you my experience that inspired that very first scene. My daughter and her husband started a business out in the Coachella Valley. They transported dead bodies.
Oh.
Now, they expanded the business, got a furnace, and now they're doing cremations.
Oh.
And now it's actually a full-blown funeral service that they do.
Gotcha.
But I was out visiting one day, and we had come back from lunch, and we went through the back door. Now, when you go in the back to go get up to the office, you have to walk through the part where the furnace is, the reefers are, where they store the dead bodies to get, through to the office.
Yeah.
So we're walking through, and apparently another funeral home had delivered several bodies to be cremated, because not all funeral homes have cremation services, so they farm those out. So these bodies were not put in the reefers or laying on gurneys here and there, and so I had to stake my way through those gurneys to get
Were they
through
covered
to
up,
the.
or were the bodies, were they looking at you?
All of them were actually covered up.
Good for you and them.
But I kept thinking, I could be in the middle of The Walking Dead episode. I'm just waiting for one of these bodies to sit up off the gurney. And that was the experience that inspired me to write that first scene.
That is cool. That is cool.
And it was from that first scene that the rest of the book developed.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why I put my original idea aside, and that original idea is actually going to end up being the sequel to this.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, and I can imagine how nerve-wracking to walk through. Like, I'm sitting there visualizing myself in that situation. I don't know. Like, I mean, because I'm pretty ballsy. I'd walk through there, but then just if you slow down for 1 second, it's just unnerving, I'm sure. That many bodies.
I think there was about 4.
Yeah. Still, there's
Then,
4 people laying. That's just,
yeah. Whenever I come down to visit, I always end up going over there and hanging out. So I've gotten used to the furnace running, and them putting bodies in there, pulling the ashes out, and everything else.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I did interview a funeral home like years and years and years ago when I first started. I need to do that again. Like, I really do. I want to say, I can't remember. I felt terrible. I think it was Hampton and Bond. Don't remember, but we didn't do the full behind the scene. I would love to talk about how that works and how people get the help. Because a lot of people don't know until something happens to their loved one, and then they're rushed to figure it all out.
Yeah.
So if there's a funeral home that gets tagged in this that wants a video, I may actually just do an in-depth video with you free because of service to Wichita Falls, because people need to know what's involved in that. But no, this is now who designed the cover of this? Because this is really nice.
Well, thank you. I actually designed the cover myself.
Well, that's a good thing. And when I asked you that question, I kind of assumed the answer, because I'm telling you, this is really, really nice. Now, you're on Facebook as Gregg Chesterman, and you also have, how are you on the Murder
Mysteries Parties to Go.
Okay.
As well as Gregg Chesterman. So I started the Murder Mysteries one when I was doing the Murder Mysteries. I have a small following now, so I've just revamped that, and now it's to promote the book.
Yeah, so now you can go over to his Facebook, the Murder Mysteries one. More than likely, that's probably the one you're posting on more. Well, I don't know. You can ask him, but he'll put that in the comments for you so you can go over and follow him. Now, not as many people are used to, because I have kind of fell off I had a daily routine of going live and interviewing people. So what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to watch this tomorrow or tonight, or they'll see it as they kind of like you probably caught my video the other day after the fact. So if you see this later and you have questions, you can still comment though, because it will notify us in the comments, and when he's tagged, he'll be able to see them. So you can comment forever and ever on this video. I plan on hopefully sticking this on my YouTube channel. I just started that. I do want to mention to you guys real quick, and we're going to circle back around, that I did start a jewelry company recently. I started my own brand. I'll show off a few things here shortly on that. I did go ahead and launch a Facebook or a website. So you can go on there and kind of click on there to book the St. Patrick's Day event. I have a mobile app now, so I can put stuff on that as well. So I'm in the process of revamping. My website doesn't look all that good because I personally designed it, so bear with us there on that one. But if you need help with your advertising or anything, you can definitely get with me. I do want to mention real quick that I do have some last minute holiday items, guys. you can get with me. These are absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to take up much time showing off this because we're here for Gregg and this awesome book. But you can go over to my Facebook, which is Tia, and it is a wonderful brand, and it is mine. So the cool thing is I make it affordable. Everything in here is super affordable and priced very, very affordably. So a lot of my stuff starts out at $5. So if you're still looking for some Christmas gifts and something with class, but it's not going to break the piggy bank, definitely you can holler at me. So now, real quick, you came across me because of a friend of mine. You've been here 8 years. So what else do you do here in Wichita Falls? Where do you go? What did you think about Wichita Falls when you first got here?
Well, the culture here in Wichita Falls is very similar to what you find in the Northwest.
Okay.
And I grew up in the Northwest.
Oh, cool.
So the culture was very, very similar. So it reminded me a lot of the different cities or towns that I grew up in.
Definitely.
However, when you compare Wichita Falls to Southern California, there are some significant differences.
Yeah.
A friend of mine once described, he used to live in Southern California, he lives here now, described driving in Southern California, whether it's the freeway or surface streets, or even just running into people out on the streets or anything else. Everyone else you meet has 25 things they have to get done that day, and each of them takes an hour. So people tend to be self-absorbed. They tend to and they're busy with their stuff. So they're not quite as polite. We went to Costco last time I was there, and it was just amazing the difference. Everyone there has scowls on their face, and you better not. I bet. you better not get in their way. If they want to go up an aisle and you're in the way, you better move out of the way, because they'll let you know you're in their way.
Definitely.
So no, it's people typically that you run into I tend to be frustrated, and I'm thinking maybe it has something to do with having to navigate all the crowds, the traffic, and everything else that puts them like that.
At the right place, then.
I can get, and I kept telling people this. I kept telling my daughter and other people this when I was there. I can get anywhere in town in 12 minutes.
That is what's up. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, because as I mentioned, Ron lives in Houston, so it's like, I don't know about that traffic coming up.
It takes people 20 minutes just to get to the freeway, and then from the freeway you can get anywhere else in the valley.
Exactly.
But, it's 20 minutes to the freeway, another 20 minutes once you get off the freeway, and then probably another 20 minutes on the freeway to get anywhere there.
Yep. That's why we love Wichita Falls.
There
I think
you go.
Yes. So I tell you what, we're going to put the Amazon link. I just realized we can copy the link into the comments as well. If you want to pull it up, you can actually comment on this, and we can go pull up the Amazon, and we will go ahead and put that in the comments of this as well. And so, so we're going to go to that, and we're going to click on it, because there should be a share button. You're on an iPhone. Why does everybody got to have an iPhone? I want to know in the comments, are you team iPhone or team Samsung people? All right, we got to go to the shop part down here somewhere. Add to cart, buy now. There is an option to share this link. I know there is. We're going to download it.
Right there.
Yep. All right.
Right there.
So we're going to copy that, and then we're going to go to the Go-To Girl, my favorite Facebook page ever. And we're just going to put that right here in the comments. We're going to paste that. And now we have the Amazon link in there, and I'm just going to say hello from you so they can find you also. And then you can also tag the Murder Mystery Parties page. And so, guys, if you see this, please do me a favor. Be sure to share and follow his page. Gail says Team iPhone. That now they're commenting. Gail, you ornery thing. Gail, we need to get you back on the show. Don't forget.
Yay, iPhone.
Yeah. I'm done. Yeah, I gotta go. I'm just kidding. No, so also, guys, stay tuned for some upcoming stuff. If you want information on the St. Patrick's Vendor Day thing, I've had several people text me today, and I think I just launched it yesterday on Facebook. You go to the event itself, just type in, go to my events on my page, click on there. There's a vendor application, there's vendor information in the discussion and all of that. And then once I approve you, because you got to be approved to be a vendor, I want to make sure everybody signs those forms and stuff, gets them back. Then we can get you set up and scheduled. If you mention this video, then you actually might get a little discount. You will get a discount if you mention this video, if you watch this video to the end. And I'm going to start doing things like this again. So it benefits you guys to watch to the very end and catch these things. But you'll get a discount on that vendor deal, and I'll send you a promo link to get a coupon code. So, all right. Mike says, how hard is it to publish a book? Oh, good question.
It depends on how you want to publish a book. Once I got done, I decided I would like to get a publishing company to pick it up. Mm-hmm. Then I found out publishing companies don't typically pick up independent books. Mm. They go through agents, so you have to get an agent to pick up your book. And so I started emailing agents with my book.
Oh, nice.
And then I found out, agents aren't going to pick up your book unless you are an established writer that has a good following, has several books out, and you're established, because that's their bread and butter. That's how they make a living, and they're only going to take stuff they know that is going to sell well. So as an independent writer, my first book, I'm kind of in what we call a catch-22 position. So I've been doing independent marketing, and I'm a writer. I am not a marketer.
Oh,
so
that's
I don't know the first thing about marketing.
Good thing that,
Except beyond posting stuff on Facebook. So I do that. My Facebook page is linked to Instagram, so I know it all goes out there. And then I found Nextdoor seems to be a good place to paste some stuff on as well.
To where?
Nextdoor.
Nextdoor. With the
app.
neighbor thing.
Yes.
The neighbor app. Oh, nice. Well, and you'll be at my St. Patrick's Day event, I'm sure. That's March 14th. So we'll get you out there to meet people.
Yeah, I think that would be good. They just ended the art walk, the after hours art walk, but when it starts again, thinking maybe I could
you
set up
gotta
a
be
booth
there.
as
Yes.
well.
Have you been to that yet?
I've been there before.
I love it. I'm ready for the art walk to come back. I'm so ready. And I'll be doing events. I'm going to do one in March, and then I've got one in April. And then I'm going to take a break because then art walk starts. It's somewhere along in there. Usually I think it's March or April when it starts. And then next year I'll be doing a big holiday one around November again. So definitely back in action, guys. You can find me on Facebook even more now than ever. If you have a question, though, text me because I don't see all my messages. And is there anything you want to add? Because I talk a lot.
To finish up on the question of how easy it is to publish a book. So I decided I'm going to self-publish. So that means ideally you're going to do it on Amazon. I also did it on Barnes & Noble. And then there's another one, I think it's called InstaSpark or something like that. You can do it as well. But I self-published on Amazon, and it's a fairly easy process. You make sure your manuscript is in the right format. You upload it. You have your cover and you have your back as well, and you put all that stuff in, and then you hit click, and it uploads it, and then in a day or two, 2 or 3 days anyway, it's published.
Wow,
so
that's
awesome. It really is quite easy once you have a finished product.
That is awesome. I've always thought I should write a book about my life, but I don't know. There's some parts of my life that I don't know if I want to share. But it's crazy.
That's the part everyone wants to read.
No, but I moved here with no car, a 2-year-old kid, walked everywhere, hopped rides, got in a fight with a babysitter that was my roommate, and then had no ride, no babysitter, and I still went to school and still worked 2 jobs. And
but
so,
that's what people want to hear.
Yeah, but it is crazy all the stuff I've done. I've ran a meat market. I've repoed cars. I've evicted people. Sadly, you hate that part of what I do. But I've done a lot of different things for my age, so maybe one day I'll be asking you for advice on how to write that. But it'll be we have to figure out how to sum that book up. But no, you are fantastic. I want to say thank you for being on the show.
Oh,
and I think we're going to be great friends. And I hope this gets out there. I hope y'all help me get this out there too. If you watch this, you better do that. Greg, I have Greg on the mind. Mike wants to know, did you use any AI to help you compile your book?
The answer to that is no, I did not. Everything is written. I did not use any AI.
Well, you have teaching behind you and
Well,
stuff too, which is, but it's genuine. It's
Here's
definitely
the
genuine.
thing, though. If I wouldn't have done that over 4 years writing murder mysteries, I never could have done this novel.
Yeah.
And murder mysteries are different than writing a novel because it's short. You create these characters, you create a subplot, and all you need to do is put a little information in, a little background going from point A to point B, and that's it, and kind of get it all to mesh together at the end. You know? And so it's much different from writing a novel. A novel, it was so. Have you ever read a novel that you really enjoy where the characters come alive to you? You get to know
I
those?
love those.
That was the writing process for me. That's exactly what happened as I began to write.
It's awesome.
I didn't have an outline.
Yeah.
I knew where I was starting. I kind of knew where I wanted to end up, but I did not know how to get there. And so what I did is I free wrote. That means, you know, you just sit down and you start writing, and the characters, as I did that, came to life for me. I was amazed at what these characters did. I know it came out of my head, but it was like the characters were doing their own thing, and I was just going
based on how they would act or how they would do after you had
just writing down what they were doing.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
it came to life.
Yeah, they did for me in the writing process, and I don't know if that happens for everyone, but
I would assume it in a lot of ways it does. But yeah, I'm interested to read this, especially because it's free form. You know, like it's just flowed. You know, so not one that somebody sat there like, my book is due, I have to publish one. Like some of the, you know, you watch some of those shows. What was that one where? Oh gosh, Sandra Bullock is a writer and she's trying to write a love romance one, and she's got Channing Tatum in the movie and she's pressed to write a book, but she's just going through it in life, and her book person keeps calling her saying, are you done? And she hadn't even started the book, and she's like, we need this copy of the book, you said you'd be done. So that's not the type of writing, you know, this has come from imagination creation, not a forced thing, so it's exciting.
Well,
go ahead.
There was a real life incident that was inspiring to me to write this book as well, because once I got that first scene done, I used this incident as inspiration to
move forward into
to develop
the
that whole
storyline.
main plot. So here's the incident. If any of you remember the Iran-Contra affair, way back when, Oliver North, the government had secretly sold aircraft parts to Iran and used the money to buy guns
now that you're telling,
give to the Contras, which was in South America's, quote, freedom fighters. Well, part of the guns that they bought actually came from a factory on a reservation that happened to have a casino there in the desert. And the CEO of the whole operation, who was hired by the tribe, apparently had a background working with the CIA. And anyway, I guess that's how he got involved in it.
Gotcha.
So one of the members on the tribal council had found out he was doing some illegal things and ripping some money off from the tribe, and so he was going to expose it. Well, the weekend before he was going to expose it, he, his girlfriend, and another friend of his were murdered out in their backyard. And it's actually called the Octopus Murders. If you look it online.
So it kind of,
yes, I've included a little bit of that in it. And one of the reasons I did because I was good friends with the gentleman that was the head of security out there when all of that happened.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Super
so
cool.
I have a character that is similar to him in the book. Why not?
Gotcha. Yes, definitely.
But to be fair, even though he was arrested for the murders, he didn't do them. They let him go. And years later, he ended up starting his own missionary organization in Honduras. He's got this huge ministry in Honduras.
Oh, well, if he winds up watching this video, hello to you. Super cool. And real quick, I got to mention, Donna Barb Conley says Gregg Chesterman and his wife are good friends of mine. I've been in a couple of his murder mysteries as well. So that is super exciting. You got Donna, be sure to share this and let's get this out there to all of your friends and stuff as well. They can catch this. Like, of course, we're already halfway through this, but they can go back after it's posted and watch the whole video and share it as well. We really want to get this out to the community. I'm digging it, literally. And it's funny because some things are inspired. I watched a video on a guy. It was a foreign guy. I think he was in Japan or Korea. I think it was Korea. Let's just say that. Well, I'll get to the end of it and you'll know what I'm talking about. But anyways, he went and he was dead broke. He was struggling for money and he was borrowing money. He was living with his mom. And he kept reading all these stories all the time, and he wanted to write his own thing, and he kept sending his book off, and he was sending it everywhere. And they kept saying there's not an audience for this, and he was going into debt and borrowing money and just anything and everything he could do. And it was funny because later down the road, someone picked up his book, and it was Netflix. And it was the Squid Games.
Oh.
They picked up, nobody wanted that. He pushed and pushed and pushed. He had no money whatsoever, and he kept pushing that. And I'm not the biggest fan of the Squid Games. I mean, I kind of caught parts of it. It's interesting. It's not necessarily, but I thought that was so cool that Netflix, and now he's probably sitting on tons and tons of money and, whatever. But that is really cool. So it's interesting how you think of things like that where, just by continually to get it out there. So let's get this out there, shall we? Maybe Netflix. Let's all tag them.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding. Let's all tag Netflix.
I had like 7 beta readers read it and give me feedback, and then I incorporated that feedback into the book. But most of them told me, this reads like a movie. You ought to see
Netflix,
this made into a movie.
Somebody tag
There you go.
them.
So if Netflix is listening out there,
maybe we'll talk enough. The phone will just tell Netflix for us. I don't know. The technology. That's a video I want to do at some point. Is like a video on technology, AI, where the world's going. Because Daniel and I were talking about that I need to broaden my audience to everybody in the world. And I'm like, you know what, Daniel, I think you're right. So we're going to do some topics like that as well. But I guess we're going to wrap this up. Well, I might have to have you on probably again.
All right.
Yeah, well, I said probably. I'm going to have you on again. We're going to talk about this again. But guys, tag and share. And if you like murder mysteries and you came this far with us, leave a comment. Oh, you're getting hearts and love. And I don't know why Facebook is showing us slow comments. So if we didn't read one of your comments or we catch it later, thanks for watching and following. Be sure to hit the follow button on my page and stay tuned for all kinds of random stuff from me, because I do jewelry, I interview people, I'm at events, I host events, I do weird videos for you guys all the time where I'm doing really weird stuff. So alright, thanks for watching, Gregg.
Thank you.
You were awesome, and we will see you next time. Smooches.